I don't know. I just felt like if Georgia had gone into overtime, they were probably going to stay in the top 4. Pat Forde thinks Georgia should still be in the top 4. Yahoo sports columnist joins us now. Let me start with the fake punt. Okay. Judging from your reaction there. Is it a bad decision before the end result there?
Yes, it's a terrible decision for like 5 different reasons. Absolutely. 4th and 11, not 4th and 3. Tie game. You have the field position to pin them deep. Your kicker is better than their kicker if it comes down to a kicking contest at the end. And biggest reason of all, Alabama had its defense on the field, not a punt return team, which, football people will say that's an automatic kill on the play call then. You check out of the fake when you see that the other team has the defense out there in what they call punt safe mode. Saban brought that up, basically, which I think was his diplomatic way of saying, I can't believe Kirby did that either.
All right. I felt that if you're Georgia, play for overtime, and if you had gone into overtime, then Georgia would be playing in the Final Four. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a great thought. That really, if you simply extend the game that far, that it makes you look better because you did take Alabama to OT. And that's a picture so big that I'm sure it never occurred to Kirby Smart on the sideline at that point in time. Again, yeah, my stance is that I thought Georgia was the 4th best team coming in, and I didn't see them do anything to lose ground. I came away more impressed with Georgia after that game than I was going in. So that's why I would say keep them 4.
But I looked at this, and I don't know if the committee is going to factor this in. The 4 most deserving or the 4 best, because Oklahoma deserved to be in there winning their last game. They won the Big 12. But are they better than Georgia? I don't think they are. So I don't know how the committee looks at this. And I know the LSU loss, that's really what is keeping Georgia out of this. But are the 4 most deserving teams or the 4 best teams? What should be the goal?
Well, this is the beautiful mess that is college football. As we get into this syntactical debate of the difference between best and most deserving, and my default position is Mike Slive, the guy who was most responsible to make the playoff happen, the late SEC commissioner, and the words that he always drove home as the most important words, the 4 best teams. And he was very purposeful about it because he thought that there were plenty of years that would mean at least 2 SEC teams.
Yeah, of course.
But I like that methodology, that way of thinking. 4 best teams. I want to see the best teams play the best games because I have a feeling Oklahoma isn't going to push Alabama to the last minute of the game when they play in the Cotton Bowl. Or, I'm sorry, in the Orange Bowl.
What do you think of and people were rooting for chaos, and then chaos brings change, and then maybe we have a 6-team or 8-team playoff. Can you have an 8-team playoff and get rid of the conference championship games?
Would love that. I would love for that to be the case. I think you can. I absolutely think you can. Conferences love their little conference championships games, but they don't help the sport as a whole. And that's been the big problem with college football is each little fiefdom only thinks about itself. If you could do away with the championship games on that weekend and you had Alabama hosting Washington in Tuscaloosa and you had Oklahoma going to Georgia and you had
Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Ohio State, Notre Dame in South Bend. How good would that weekend be? I mean, if you had those 4 games, you play one on Friday night, a triple header on Saturday, it would be awesome. I just think it would be great. I hope that there's enough contentiousness and divisiveness that that push the debate further and people at least consider it.
Talking to Pat Forde from Yahoo Sports, their college football and college basketball columnist. Also looking at Lincoln Riley, some of these other coaches who might move up to the pro ranks or at least get an interview. We had Lincoln Riley on last hour, and I said, do you have an obligation to your family and yourself to at least look at these jobs? And he said, no, I have a great job. And, I mean, that's the right answer to give me. But do you think Lincoln Riley is coaching in the NFL next season?
Sure, I would not blame him if he looked.
I wouldn't either.
He's got a brilliant offensive mind. It's an offensive mind that's more and more adaptable to the NFL. The line, there used to be such a blurred line, or a strong line between the way you quarterbacked and coached offense in college versus the NFL, and that line is blurred now. And so if I were an NFL team, I'd absolutely want to talk to him. My sense is that he's happy at Oklahoma and would stay there, but it wouldn't shock me if he ended up in the NFL next season.
Was this a good year for college football?
That's a great question because they're really, how many dramatic games have there been? Games you're like, wow, that was so great. That was so fun. Not that many, not that many huge upsets. Even when Purdue stunned Ohio State, that was a 29-point game. It was over by the middle of the third quarter. Alabama's jack-stomped everybody. Clemson's jack-stomped everybody. Notre Dame has had some close games, but, not necessarily overly memorably close. So from a drama standpoint, it hasn't been great. I'm hoping we're going to get there, but it may take till the last game because I think both semifinals could be fairly lopsided.
Would Alabama losing in the first round be good for college football?
Sure. I think that would not be a problem. Matter of fact, if both Alabama and Clemson lost in the first round, why not? Because then if you got fresh blood playing for the championship, that would certainly that would upset the apple cart to a degree. It's been a very, the playoff era has been very formful. It's been pretty much the usual suspects in there, and I think that somewhat lessens the national interest.
Urban Meyer is where next season?
Either an analyst on TV or watching his kids, grandkids do their thing. I don't think he's coaching.
Good to visit with you as always, Pat. We appreciate your time. Thanks.
My pleasure, Dan. Thank you.
Pat Forde, Yahoo Sports.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.